Where spaghetti? Who knows where spaghetti grows? We're live. I think actually one of the big things that's been coming up for me is, you know, honestly asking for help. That's like such a tough topic. I mean, so many people have a hard time. I posted about it, and I guarantee you a lot of people saw it, but only a few people commented because it was kind of tricky, like, what do you do when you ask for help?
I don't know, but I wanted to say, here we are in the horse's natural habitat. Let's see what they're gonna do.
Oh my God. I, I'm not sure if that was Steve Irwin or what it actually was, but that's a British accent for Steve Irwin. Anyway, let's see what they are.
These are the most dangerous animals in the world. Let's get a little closer.
Let's get a little closer. Okay. I don't think you have an Australian accent going at all, but that's okay.
What'd you say?
I said I don't think you have an Australian. Are you going for an Australian accent?
I don't know. I'm just being silly.
Thank God. And maybe that's just really what you need on a day like today. That's to just feel really good about being silly. Look at Bourbon. Okay, so this is Bourbon. Um, he's the four-legged one. Daniela is the two-legged one that drinks the four-legged one. No, just kidding. But he's really an incredible guy. Tell us a little bit about his story. Like he won a lot of money. He raced a ton.
Yeah, Bourbon was a trotter, so he pulled the guy in the little carriage behind him. He was a trotting racehorse, and apparently he broke the world record for trotting in Saratoga in 2000. I want to say 17. And Did I ever share that video with you? I'm
No,
looking at there, but I have to find it. A friend of mine found the winning race video, and I gotta say, I'm not a fan of the horse races, but he was very impressive. Watching him, he waited till almost the end of the race, and then he came out of nowhere and just pew, killed it.
that's Mavericks. That's how Mavericks roll. If you think about it, it's like all of a sudden from out of nowhere, they did a something. Like that
Right,
totally makes sense. I would be interested to see. I mean, like you said, as much as it pains me, for those of you watching, I'm not going to speak for Daniela, but I am going to speak for myself, and I'm pretty sure Daniela would agree with me. The horse racing industry is broken. The way the horses are treated, the way they're handled, whether it's harness racing, quarter horse racing, Kentucky Derby, thoroughbred racing, it doesn't matter. If there are definitely some serious things that are going sideways around that. And I'm looking at this big guy here at how much he loves you and how much he comes and connects with you when that wasn't the case when I was there. So, for those of you who don't know, I spent the summer in 2021. God, that seems so long ago, but yesterday. And I spent the summer with Daniela working with her horses and playing. I brought my horses there. We spent the whole summer together. And what this horse has like shifted into is very similar to what Maverick has like his journey. And to know that when you have something of value and you want to share it, you got to do it without exploiting it. And that's what I think that comes up a lot of times in the horse racing and industry is that they're exploiting these horses. And what we're now doing is putting programs together and have been putting programs together to help people understand the value that these guys have. There's something magical
well,
about the horse.
and to think about, like you said, the journey. So I've been here 3 years now, and that first year, we didn't even really touch Bourbon. He was just here, and
Right. It
a
was right in
lot
his body. You're right.
I remember all I did was just hang out with him a lot, and I never asked him for anything. And then remember the one time you went in the arena with him, and it was like he was like, oh my gosh! I remember was so crazy, and you weren't doing anything but like standing there. Right, buddy? It was remember how crazy you were? He was like, and then remember you walked out with him and he was like rearing up and he fell down and
Yeah,
flipped over and he was losing his mind. It was like, I don't know what he thought was going to happen. And then I didn't do anything with him for a while after that. Maybe another year, honestly. And then I learned Reiki, energy healing, and I did a lot of Reiki on him. And that was the first time
look at him.
I started feeling him open up to me and not be rejecting any of my advances, for lack of a better, you know what I mean? And then we worked with him really in this past year, kind of, right? No, maybe last year when we started doing a little more with him.
It's not even been a year, it really hasn't. And look how we're like, oh, hey, thank you for showing your relaxation to us, sir. But there's definitely, some pieces of that. And then that beautiful cinnamon butt sticking out, that rose, and it's so funny because my good friend Denise, she doesn't like the name Rose because she is president of the rescue where Rose came from, and her name was originally Dior.
Dior.
Yeah, D''OR, which is it's kind of a sexy name, Dior. But she's not. The rose is just, look at that butt sticking out.
Well, if you think about it, a rose is beautiful, but it has thorns. So it's actually perfect for her.
It really is perfect for her.
She is beautiful, but she's got some thorns on her that if you don't be careful where you touch her, you might get pricked and then you might get hurt.
That's right. And that's interesting because she does have that, there's some we call them like, don't touch me. Don't touch me that. Don't touch me there. And those are just some things where, we don't want to remove her thorns necessarily, but we do want to make her comfortable about how we handle them, and that's really the beautiful thing about her. And, you have a barn, like I'm looking at little Ollie, and then you got Scotty, and then you got Mo, and you have 7 animals, 7, here's kind of something that's really important. If you're watching this and if you haven't been bored to tears already, then understand this. Our civilizations were built. The Western culture was built on the backs of horses, and we are now no longer in connection with something that helped us. So I want you to think about this. So say someone helps you. They help you a lot. They help you build your empire. They help you do everything. They do everything you say. And then you build your empire and then replace them. And the connection that you had with them was what you built your empire on, and your connection with your soul, your family, your earth. I remember my great grandfather was like, I'm so excited. I can't wait to get my tractor and not have to use the horses anymore. But the problem with that and we didn't even really realize it as the industrial age came to pass, that we're putting a bifurcation. We're putting a wedge in between the one thing that kind of keeps us connected to soul, keeps us connected to earth, keeps us connected to ourselves. And that's horses. And I know it sounds crazy, but it wasn't that long ago where the number one selling thing in the Sears and Roebuck catalog was, a buggy whip. So you look at it from that perspective, it's like, And I had a meeting with someone earlier this morning, and he was like, well, I'm not really an equestrian. I'm not either. Me either. Are you an equestrian?
What is an equestrian anyway?
Exactly. So I really had, and I think that's been I know for me, I'm not, I don't speak for you, but I know for me that it's been really a challenge to communicate with people that I'm not just a horse person. It could be, anything else, but there's something magical about these animals, you know? So I don't know if you would feel the same way you would feel after having an experience with an aardvark, or a shrimp, you know, you know? Look at how he's connected to you. He's very sweet. He didn't used to be sweet. He used to be kind of salty.
Yeah. Well, that's just it. The point I was getting at too is like it took 3 years basically to get to this. And it really makes you think a lot about relationships. And even, we're single, right? And so when you think about meeting someone and dating, and how long does it take to really get to know somebody, to build trust? And people are jumping into relationships like right away and then wondering why it's not, it doesn't work, or maybe they take too much time. I mean, whatever, it doesn't even matter. My point is that like 3 years, almost 2 years for him to actually trust that I had his best interest in mind. And I was here every day, feeding him every day, like spending time with him, giving him as much proof as possible. And granted, he's a skeptic, right? So his personality type is obviously.
And aren't we all skeptics?
Well, and it's, some more than others, I'm sure, right? Because there's those there, Scotty was my best friend right away. Scotty and I.
I love this. I love this so much.
Scotty and I, we hit it off pretty quickly.
Is this bourbon? Is this new?
Not really. And I also got a few treats because I thought that would bring them all out and get a little more action.
Give him time. For sure.
So he's just like got a taste, and so
yeah, and you guys, this is really important because it's not you're not a walking Pez dispenser. That's not the just because she has a treat. The whole treat discussion makes me want to stab myself in the eye. I wanted to say stab other people, but I didn't want to get banned from Facebook.
Cancel. Don't get canceled. Please don't cancel.
But it does, because like the treats are it's not a treat. It's just there's 3 reasons to give a treat to a horse or a human, and I mean, come on, it's marketing 101. You hook them with something. Hey, I got a treat. You tell them a story about why the treat's going to affect them. Are you hungry for a treat? And then you give them the treat. And they're like, wow, that was way more than I ever expected. Marketing 101. Now, when you are in a position where you say, okay, well, you've had enough treats for free. Now you got to pay for it. Like he's in a point now where he's really like, yeah.
Yeah. So now he's not going to get one because he's being too aggressive.
But no, he's not being aggressive. He's being persistent. So here's a key piece.
But there's a little aggression here. You're not feeling his head against me the way I'm feeling it.
Well, you still have all of your appendages. So as long as that's the case, it's like unless he rips your ear off, then then.
And I can back him up if I want to. So
that's where you go. That's where you go. And you just made my point for me. That's so perfect. It's like once people are like so excited about your treat, and I'm sorry. I'm addicted to Alex Hormozy. Lately, I can't help myself. Once they are addicted, really love what your free offer is, like that first treat. Now you start charging for it just a little, not a lot. And this is literally behavior 101. So now, if he wants this, now look how much effort you had to put in to him backing away. You had to get up out of the chair. We had a conversation about it. You had to turn around. You had to put your hand on his face. And look, how effective was that? Not at all. Because now he's like back one, his freebie. Once he's walked around Costco and changed his hat. And now he's going to get him something. Now, say no now. Let's say, okay. So now she's going to, Lots of effort on your part to say, I don't think so. So we need to increase the price. They need to increase the friction a little bit, right? Because we don't want to lose rapport, but we also, we want to make there. Now there, oh, that's so cute. Right? So now you've said, hey, no, there's a cost to admission. You got to, now you know what I have and how amazing it is. So now there's a little cost. So anytime you do that, you create some friction. They're not going to be as interested to buy. I swear to God, I've been studying this whole digital marketing thing for so hard and so long. I could probably like talk it through an interaction with a horse. Because at the end of the day, it's all about behavior. It's all about behavior, guys. And what do you want? Right? You want them to take the action that you want them to take, whatever that happens to be. So there's no rules of engagement for what you have going on with him right now, which is fine. Kind of.
Right. I mean, we're just hanging out. I just don't want him up. He's not sneak attack, and he got right to them.
Now you know why I call the horses sneaky snacks.
That was actually really funny. He totally. Oh, you little bugger, you. You're quite the sneaky bastard, aren't you?
And then you just rewarded that behavior.
I know. But
so here's the interesting thing about that. And it's so funny you say that, because here we go. You ready? If you're watching this, you need to hear this right now. Whatever behavior you reward is the behavior you will continue to get. Behavior you reward is the behavior you will continue to get. And so when you're like, I don't know why you're going to call me one day, I don't know why I can't get Bourbon out of my space. Well, remember Friday, October 6th, when we had our session and you let him do the thing and the stuff and he got the cookies? You just taught
I could get him out of my space if I really want to.
Yeah. And so why would you want to? And why would you not want to?
Well, right now, this is entertainment, right? I mean, it's giving us something to talk about. For both of us, for me, for you, it's giving us something to talk about, right? For any viewers. If I was seriously doing something and he was, being too much, I could get more firm about my.
Okay. So right there, there is a differentiation between when it is okay for him to be ridiculous and when it is not okay for him to be ridiculous. So I would encourage you to pick one.
What do you mean pick one? It's
Allow
always okay or it's not always okay?
Correct. Because you cannot have exceptions to a rule until you have a rule. If you don't establish a guideline or a rule, there cannot be any exceptions to it. So there needs to be a decision about how you want to interact. And here's the cool thing. You get to decide, and you can do it any way you want, any time you want, any day you want, because you are in control. So you can say, today, I'm going to let him do this. But you also have to know and understand cleanly that when he decides that he wants to act in a way that you don't like, and he goes, you know what? I don't want you to, you know what? Friday afternoons, this cookie thing, fine. But you know what? This other time, not so much. And he bites you or he kicks you or he does something you don't like. I don't care if it could be a horse, it could be a person. There are just mixed signals to him. And he doesn't know whether or not he should be in a relationship with you or use you as a Pez dispenser or or just stand there. Right. And there's so much of us that say we should just accept what's happening in the moment. Okay, fine. It is what it is. That phrase makes me want to stab somebody because it isn't what it is. It is up to us to decide what it is. And all this, that kind of stuff that he's doing right now, this over your head, airspace claiming, pushing, right? That's, I don't care what kind of relationship you guys have. I do not. It is your relationship. But I do want is when you say, you know what, I want X, Y, and Z, and he's given me A, B, and C. I want you to understand the difference between why that's happening. Thank you. Feel free to put that away, sir. And why something else isn't happening. And it comes down to our decision making process. And the fact that although he's being sort of chill and whatever, he's also being kind of an asshole right now. You know, and that doesn't mean you turn into a dick. I mean, he just showed us that. But at the same time, we go, oh, but he's being sweet. But not really. Because he's not there for you. He's there for your goodies.
Well, and eventually there's no more goodies. So he's gonna.
And then he'll get, once there's no more goodies, he'll get bored with you and move on. Not talking about horses anymore, guys. Just if you're watching.
Yeah, but I mean, you can't. You also, I don't know if that can be generalized either.
Oh, it can. 1,000%. Tell me how it can't, and I'll show you how it can.
Because I don't know that saying then when there's no more treats, he's going to get bored and walk away is now not like, who is that talking about? Who else are you talking about?
Everybody. That is the marketing 101.
But when you think about relationships, people who are not getting what they want and stay anyway, and they don't walk away, that's
they're not getting what
different.
they want, and they're getting what they need. And they're in some way, shape, or form are having some accessibility to secondary gain. That's the bottom line. They're getting some kind of secondary gain. Even if they say, this isn't what I want. I don't want to be, strapped for cash or sick all the time or stressed out or whatever the insert problem, without cookies, whatever the problem is. But we're getting some kind of secondary gain by being in that space. And he's over here, like, he's kind of just chilling with you, fine. But he's really just waiting for the next cookie. Yeah. And this is where we go. This is the cookie paradigm, the cookie tricky paradigm. It's like, oh, well, then I just won't give him treats anymore. Oh, my God. Don't do that. There are 3 reasons to give a horse a treat. They are, they are when you are trying to build a connection, like what you're trying to do with him. Like right now, it's not an inappropriate time to give a treat because you're building connection with him. To interrupt a pattern, and that's the second one, and then to reward a beneficial behavior. So sometimes, when you see someone and they're like, just say dogs, the dog is biting people or doing something inappropriate. Sometimes it is okay to give that dog a treat to break the pattern. Let me give you an example in the horse world. I'll never forget this, actually. There was an Arabian horse. She did not like being saddled. And every time you would go to put the saddle on her, she would go to bite you. She'd like whip that head around and like she'd taken a chunk out of her owner a couple of times. And so every time so we worked the horse, and every time the horse would whip around to go and bite, I'd give her a cookie. And everybody's like, oh my God, you're rewarding the biting. No, we're interrupting the pattern. Because why is she biting? That kind of thing. Why was this horse biting? The horse was biting because she didn't like whatever was going on with the saddle. Well, we did all the saddle fit and biomechanics and, even, bareback pad, or even just a rope and a towel, or just something gentle around her midsection that was not like a saddle. It was just so ingrained in her that when I go to put on my bra, the world hurts, and she would go to bite. And after one session, we fixed that. Now, I'm not here to say like, oh, let's talk about horse, but look, where else is that showing up in your life, where we're doing these things? We have those belief systems, if that makes sense. There's Oliver. So you're doing the appropriate thing with Bourbon right now, with the treats, saying, hey, come here, let's just hang out. And oh, by the way, Grandma's got some cookies. Why do we love Grandma? Because she's dead and she gave us her inheritance. No.
My grandma did not give me an inheritance.
We love Grandma because she's got the good cookies. I go to my granny's house and she had this little candy dish. I mean, we all love Grandma, because she's got the candy dish. You got to get the little butterscotch or whatever the heck. Butterscotch. Well, so he's coming to see Grandma. Now, after a while, Grandma's going to want you, because she's getting older, she's going to want you to go and rake her leaves in the backyard. And now all of a sudden, you don't like Grandma so much because you got to go rake her damn leaves. Right? But that's okay because she has candy in the candy dish and she's been giving you candy for a while. And now you go rake maybe go rake a few leaves for her. So that's all what we're doing today with him and everyone else is we're just going and saying, hey, Grandma's got a candy dish. There, right? Who was that?
That was Bourbon.
Bourbon. We got the candy. Bourbon candy. Candy. We got to have the candy. And then now he's like, okay, that's cool. This is actually a really great session. Because next time when you actually ask him to go help you rake some leaves in the backyard or do something, his brain's going to open up a little bit more to that. Now he's just chilling. It's like, oh. Now, see, and all that licking and chewing. That's the 4th time he's done that since we've been on the video that I've counted. All that licking and chewing. You might actually get a yawn out of him. This is really important to him, believe it or not. And then when he starts to get pushy, I wouldn't say, oh, hey, let's go rake leaves in the backyard. Oh, okay. You want to engage? Then let's go for a walk, or let's go do something fun or different or interesting. Because that's the way you go, okay, now thank you for your time, effort, energy, and attention. Now let's go do something that will give you value. Right? And now, and now he's like, oh, hanging with Mom, not so bad. Because how much time do we actually spend with these? God, I don't know how long I've been doing this. Over the decades I've been doing this, I have the running average is about, for people that are really or that are good with horses, that have horses and do stuff, they spend about 3.6 3% of their week. Out of 168 hours, they spend about 3.6% of their time with their animals. And they're good. What's that tell you about the other 96.4% of the week that they're spending doing something else? And what are they doing? They're hanging out with Bourbon and Scotty and Rose. And I mean, they spend so much time doing that, right? So now we have them, we got them for 3% of the week. And we expect them to do what? Maybe we should expect them to do a little less and enjoy doing a little more. And these kind of sessions, as much as it's like we've been sitting here, on the live for 30 minutes, he came over. Guess what? You're out of cookies, or decided he isn't getting any more cookies for whatever. And now he's done. He's bored. Just what we said. Right? So now what? Well, we can go dig him out of his stall and say, let's go do something. We could just, like, what's Scotty doing? Nothing.
No, they're all kind of snoozing.
Yeah, they're all snoozing. You want to be like them? You want to get engaged with them? They'll grab you the poof and snooze away with them. Just take and that's like in the world where they called it undemanding time. But I say just, dwell time, chill time, connection time. This is, I'm going to go out there and spend, like, when we're done, I'm going to walk out looking out at Dante and Bella and Maverick, and I'm just going to go spend, I don't know, 2 songs. And the key piece of this and why this is so powerful is, like, what if you were to do that with yourself? What if you were to spend just a little undemanding time with yourself? Not a lot of time, but just 15 minutes, 10 minutes. Set a timer. It goes fast, guys. But
Yeah.
just this, as much as this has been for Bourbon, every single other horse in the barn has benefited from you just being in their presence.
I mean, if there's anything I personally do with these guys a lot, it is this, because I meditate with them a lot, and it's just me sitting here meditating, and they're just with me. Sometimes I hang out in the field with them while they're grazing and just hang out with them. I don't even really do anything.
Yep, absolutely. And even, like, one of the things that came up for me this morning was, Gail moved away a long time. Oh, it's a long time ago, but I'm still kind of mourning that, because that was some of the best time of my life. My business was growing. We were like 2 peas in a pod. We did everything together, and I really miss that. And just to have someone next to you to co-work, So those of you, anybody watching, and you're hearing this piece, I'm going to say this, and I might say it a couple of times. One of the most incredibly cruel things you could do to a horse is to get one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they definitely need a buddy. It's always so sad when I drive by places and it's one little guy in a small little, paddock by himself.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm sure there's reasons on occasion for that, right? If someone needs to be quarantined or someone's going through
temporarily fine, but
right.
that can't be their life.
No.
And if there's anything we can learn from that and the pandemic and everything that's happened, it's we are not meant to be alone. We're not. And to have the heartbeat of something next to you, you'll watch, like, now that I'm here in my new space, I have a pasture up front where I can see them right now. I see Trace and that cute little butt of Tuesday. And so they have this stuff going on, right? And I'm like, that's it. These guys need to be together. We all need each other.
It's too bad you can't see it. But it's me. I'm laughing because as you're saying that, Mo and Oliver and Scotty always share a stall.
Mo, Oliver. Oh my God, the three of them?
Yes, and so let's see if I could somehow capture this. I would
Oh
have to
my
get closer,
goodness.
and I really.
Oh my goodness.
I had a feeling that was going to happen, but oh, here we go. Malfunction. You can't really see them. They're behind the door, and I can't get closer because I'm on Scotty. So, but the funny thing is Oliver just I could only see Oliver's face for a second, and his little tongue
I
was
can see
sticking
his
out.
nose sticking out.
That's Mo's nose. Oliver is probably right behind him, and his little face was sticking out for a second, and his tongue was sticking out. And then he slowly backed away. It was like he was like looking at me, and then
Fade to black. Fade to
it
black.
was it was
Oh my
funny. It
God.
was funny.
Well,
Anyway,
what
now,
an,
now
what
that
an
I
interesting, what an interesting. Oh, look at that! Look at those little snuggle bugs.
yeah.
Well, I have an interesting thing going on in my world right now. I have a lot going on that have been teaching me a ton of lessons, and one of the things is to find your tribe and chill, and just go lean into it. Now, that doesn't mean you don't take action, that you don't do things and stuff or stuff and things, but this little undemanding time, Abraham Lincoln said if given 6 hours to cut down a tree, he would spend 5 of those hours sharpening his axe.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we're doing right now today, guys, is sharpening our axe, really connecting with these guys in a way that they understand. Now, you don't always have the opportunity to do that, but if you're going to go ask one of these guys to do something, you better have your act together. And this
Mm-hmm.
this is deposits in the rapport bank account for all of them, especially Bourbon because he's been so engaged.
Yeah. Well, I on that note, I'm gonna just because now I totally messed up my setup too, and now I'm holding this
Oh, look
camera.
at those little threes, three musketeers. They all live in the same stall. That's so cute.
Yeah.
But yes. On that note, the final message of the day really is take time to connect.
Yes. Three's Company right there.
My God, that is hysterical. They're all in the same stall.
Always.
Your guys are a riot. It's boys club. And then
Well,
yeah. Yay! All right, y'all. On that,
all right,
it's
y'all.
thank you for tuning in to Fact Day Friday. Phenomenal Day Friday. We're really excited that you're here. We're doing a lot of great stuff, teaching leadership, healing, and empowerment through courses. So thanks for tuning in. Make sure you're following Artemis Hill and Jen Zoe Hall at whatever wherever platform you like to follow or your own. And then
Follow me. Just follow me everywhere. Follow me everywhere I go.
follow me, follow me. Sweater weather. Follow me now. Follow me now.
Follow me.
So on that, have a great rest of your weekend. Amazing, and believe in
Thanks.
yourself. It will change your life.
Amen. Cheers to that.